And finally, I want to look at all of the different taxonomic groups within the theropods. So we have ceratosaurs as an odd, or not really odd, but an early primitive type of theropod. And then we have this next node up on the cladogram, this Tetanuri, which composed of this Compsognathus, this is one particular genus, and then these two major groups, the Carnosaurids and the Coelurosaurids. So first of all, the ceratosaurs, they have a long history. They're always around, Triassic to Jurassic, whole bunch of interesting features here. But one of them is that they have these prominent dorsal skull crests. And there might be an element of sexual dimorphism to this, but clearly carnivorous group, clearly Saurian hip, lots of theropod characters, the curved femur, etc., but different from the majority of the remaining theropods, which are the Tetanuri, which literally translates to fused tails. Their tails were long and extended and fused together. We have two major groups here, and both of these are more bird-like. Now, we're not going to talk about it this time, but in the next section for exam 3, I'm going to talk about this transition, this evolutionary trend from this type group, this Tetanuri, and we'll see a specific group in just a second, towards actual birds. Interesting group. They're all united by a whole bunch of different things, particularly the lighter skull, lighter skeleton, lots of holes and voids here. But then in the hip area, the pubis has an extension, sometimes a large process on it that we've called the boot, sort of a larger thing. Among the two groups, we have the carnosaurs, and these are things that are rather large and heavy. Many people are working on carnosaurs today. Allosaurus is probably the primary example of this large predator here. And then more importantly, the Coelurosaurs. And this group is the most bird-like. Hint, hint, hint. We're looking at the group that is ancestral to birds. Huge number of defining characteristics that we will talk about when we talk about the origins of birds. And these things come around late in the history of dinosaurs. So mostly the Cretaceous, and we've got excellent faunas in North America and Asia, probably because we have lots of excellent workers, researchers in North America and Asia. So they've been found elsewhere, but not as much work has been done. And this is the group, the Coelurosaurs, that are ancestral to the birds. It includes tyrannosaurs, ornithomimids, dromaeosaurs, a whole bunch of things like that. So we'll save that for next time. With this lecture ending, we've finished our discussion of all of the different major dinosaur groups. It's a lot to know, but you have to sort of be able to understand the difference between these things and understand the characters that define them all.